welcome back. Tonight for dinner I am going to be making a pasta dish. What else is new? But I'm going to be doing kind of a one pot pasta dish, and it will have different parts to it, and in the end it'll all come together. So I'm also going to be doing a pasta review. This brand is called Martino, and it was recommended to use because it is a bronze dyed pasta. I usually use Barilla, so I'm gonna kind of compare and see how it is. So what I'm gonna be doing is a spinach pesto pasta with some blistered whole cherry tomatoes and some roasted and flaked salmon. For my ingredients, I do have some salmon that I'm going to be putting in the oven. For my pesto, I'm just going to use spinach, some almonds. I thought I had pine nuts, but I don't, so I'm going to use almonds. I have a large garlic clove and also lemon, as well as olive oil, and I'll be using some salt and pepper. I have some pasta. I'm not going to cook the whole package, just enough for a couple of people. And I have some cherry tomatoes as well. And because a watched pot never boils, I'm going to start by filling up my pot and setting it to high while I work on my other ingredients. So first off, I'm going to get my salmon in the oven, and I'm just going to use some regular olive oil, some salt, and some pepper. And for my cherry tomatoes, I'm using about a half a pint, but you can use however much you'd like. Same thing, I'm just going to do olive oil, salt, and pepper. And I'm not cutting these, I'm just going to leave them whole. So I put both the salmon and the tomatoes in the oven at the same time. I'm looking for the fish to flake and the tomatoes to kind of shrink a little bit and start to blister. I forgot one more thing. I'm actually going to use one zucchini. You could roast it if you have some space in your oven, but that's already been occupied. So I'm just going to pan saute it, and this will also get incorporated with everything else. Same thing for the zucchini, just a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper, and you can get this cooked up until tender. Now, if you do choose to roast it, it will have a different flavor, and it is delicious. But again, if you just want to do this on the stove, that is fine too. Okay, and then for the pesto, spinach has kind of a flavor on its own, and I'm not going to be using any basil or parsley for that matter. I'm going to just use spinach. Now, it's going to have one massive raw garlic, so I'm going to actually cut this in a few pieces to throw this in there. And this is cheeseless because I'm using fish. I don't particularly do cheese with my fish dishes. And I've already toasted the almonds, so that's going to go in here too, as well as some salt. So each layer is seasoned, and that is important. With the lemon, I am going to zest it and then put the juice in. Now, I'm doing this in a nutribullet. However, if you have a blender, go ahead and do this. I added a little bit of water so that it can get started, and then I'm gonna do my extra virgin olive oil, and this is my good oil. And I'm gonna give this a blitz, and if I need to adjust anything for the consistency, I will. Okay, so this is the first round. It smells good. I will taste it, but I'm going to add some more spinach. Okay, so this is done, and it does not take too long. I did manage to get the whole bunch of spinach, which I'm super happy about, and it does taste really good. The garlic clove that I had was very strong, so I'm not going to add any more garlic. The consistency is thick, but once you incorporate it with the pasta and a little bit of pasta water, it will be just fine. And adding the lemon will also keep it greener. Then to my seasoned pasta water, in goes my pasta. And I am gonna cook this until it is al dente. So my cherry tomatoes are ready. I've just taken them out of the oven and I'm just gonna let them hang out until I'm ready to put everything together. And the fish also, when it starts to flake like this, it's done. So as the pasta finishes to cook, I'm gonna start assembling everything. I already have my zucchini in here. I'm going to flake the salmon and put it in the bowl as well. So I pulled my pasta out and now I'm just going to pour some of my pesto over. I'm gonna put a little bit and then kind of gauge from there. And the other thing I'll want to do is add a little bit of the pasta water. If you end up having leftover pesto, what you can do, put it in your Tupperware or a little jar and put a layer of olive oil over the top, and it should keep the color a little longer than normal. Because sometimes, you know, when it oxidizes, it just gets kind of gross, kind of like guacamole. But that should help you out. And then to this, you're gonna top it with some of your cherry tomatoes. So here we have our finished dish. I've used some pasta from the Martino. It's called mezzi rigatoni, that is the shape. And I've done a spinach pesto with some oven roasted salmon, zucchini, and blistered tomatoes. Okay, so I like dishes like this because you have all in one. You have your protein, you have your vegetable, you have your starch or carb source. And, you know, for me, it works. I really like it. Makes for good leftovers too, I feel. And so I'm gonna taste it for the pasta. I did taste it while it was cooking, but it wasn't quite finished yet. Now, I kept the seasoning pretty simple throughout. The only thing was the sauce that I added, the really large garlic clove. You can add more or less depending to your taste, but that was like the one assertive thing throughout the whole dish. As far as the pasta goes, I used pastificio di Martino, and it comes in a blue bag with a red banner on it. It is a more premium pasta, if you will. Definitely more expensive than Barilla, but it does have a nice texture. It doesn't fall apart. Because this shape I haven't really seen in Barilla's line, so it's kind of nice to branch out once in a while, especially if you want to do maybe a special pasta dinner at home. I like it because for the pesto especially, this one has the lines on it, which is usually rigati. But that's just part of a name when they actually mark lines into the pasta, and it helps grab the sauce more. And because this sauce is pretty thin, it works really well with each other. The other thing that I really like, because it has the hole in the middle, it's good with things like chunkier sauces, which this has, you know, the zucchini in it and the pieces of salmon that it goes throughout. So in this preparation, it turned out great. Would I use this again? Well, of course I'm gonna finish the package eventually, but you know, I mean, once in a while maybe. I forgot what the price was for the pound, but I'm gonna say around 5, maybe 6, which is a lot compared to Barilla. Sometimes you find it on special, you know, 10 for $10 sometimes. But overall, it is really good. If there are any products or food related items that you would like me to review, please make a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching. I will not have an exact recipe in the description box, but I will mark what I used should you want to try this out, and you can adjust the measurements to your taste or to your needs. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I've also added a link down below to my Amazon wish list. I know some people have asked, you know, how they can possibly support, and I have a few things on there, you know, should you choose to support my channel. If you have any other questions, you can please reach out to me. Thanks so much. I'll see you next time.